Hello, everyone, and welcome back to English the Natural Way. I'm Alex.
Hi, friends. I'm Linda. We're so excited to have you with us today. No matter where you are right now, at home, at work, or taking a walk, thank you for choosing to learn English with us.
Today, we're going to talk about two little words that confuse many learners, into and onto.
These prepositions seem so similar, but they're used in different ways.
Don't worry, by the end of this episode, you'll understand exactly when to use into and when to use onto.
Before we start, if you enjoy learning English in a natural and simple way, please like this episode, share it with your friends, and subscribe to English the Natural Way.
All right, let's get started.
So first, why do these two words confuse learners?
Because they both show movement, that's what makes them tricky.
Right, but the type of movement is different.
Into shows movement from outside to inside something.
Onto shows movement from one surface to another surface.
That's the key difference.
Let's explore each one in detail and make it super clear.
Let's start with into. When do we use it?
We use into when something moves from outside to inside.
Think about entering something, going inside something.
For example, I walked into the room.
You were outside the room, then you entered it. You went inside.
She jumped into the pool.
She was outside the pool, then she jumped in. She's now inside the water.
He got into the car.
He was outside the car, then he entered it. Now he's inside.
Can you see the pattern? Outside to inside.
Let's practice. The cat ran into the house.
I put the book into my bag.
She dove into the ocean.
We walked into the store.
All showing movement from outside to inside.
Now let's talk about onto. This one is different.
Yes, onto shows movement from one place to a surface.
Think about landing on top of something, moving to a surface.
For example, the cat jumped onto the table.
The cat moved from the floor to the surface of the table.
I put the book onto the shelf.
The book moved from your hand to the surface of the shelf.
She climbed onto the roof.
She moved from the ground to the surface of the roof.
Can you feel the difference? It's about surfaces.
Let's practice. He stepped onto the stage.
The bird landed onto the branch.
I placed the cup onto the table.
They got onto the bus.
All showing movement to surfaces.
Now let's compare into and onto directly.
Great idea. Let's use similar situations.
I walked into the building. Inside.
I walked onto the bridge. Surface.
Can you feel the difference?
The building surrounds you. You're inside it.
The bridge is under you. You're on its surface.
Another example. She jumped into the water.
She jumped onto the diving board.
Into the water means she's surrounded by water. She's inside it.
Onto the diving board means she's standing on its surface.
The difference is clear.
Let's talk about containers and enclosed spaces.
Yes, with containers, we always use into.
Because containers have insides.
For example, put the milk into the refrigerator.
I threw the paper into the trash can.
She poured water into the glass.
He put his clothes into the drawer.
All containers, all use into.
Let's practice. Put the money into your wallet.
I put the keys into my pocket.
She put the letter into the envelope.
They loaded the boxes into the truck.
All showing movement inside containers. Now let's talk about flat surfaces.
Yes, with flat surfaces, we use onto.
Because you're moving to the top of something.
For example, put the plate onto the table.
I dropped the book onto the floor.
She placed her hand onto his shoulder.
The rain fell onto the ground.
All flat surfaces. All use onto.
Let's practice. He put the papers onto the desk.
I set the vase onto the counter.
She threw the ball onto the roof.
The snow fell onto the car.
All showing movement to surfaces.
Now let's talk about vehicles. This is interesting.
Yes, the choice depends on the type of vehicle.
For cars and taxis, we use into.
Because you go inside them.
I got into the car.
She climbed into the taxi.
For buses, trains, and planes, we use onto.
Because they're larger, we think of them as surfaces or platforms.
I got onto the bus.
She stepped onto the train.
They boarded onto the plane.
But wait, some people also say, I got on the bus without to.
That's true. On alone is also common.
But if you use onto, it emphasizes the movement.
Let's practice. He jumped into his car.
She got onto the subway.
I climbed into the back seat.
They rushed onto the airplane.
The pattern depends on the vehicle.
Let's talk about rooms and buildings.
Yes, with rooms and buildings, we use into.
Because you enter them, you go inside.
I walked into the bedroom.
She ran into the school.
He went into the office.
We stepped into the elevator.
All enclosed spaces.
Let's practice. She walked into the kitchen.
I went into the bathroom.
He entered into the auditorium.
They came into the restaurant.
All using into.
Now let's talk about some tricky examples.
Yes, some situations can be confusing.
For example, a bed.
Do we say into bed or onto bed?
We say into bed because we think of getting under the covers.
I got into bed at 10 p.m.
She climbed into bed.
But if you just sit on top of the bed, you could say onto.
He sat onto the bed, but most people just say on the bed.
Another tricky one, a chair.
We usually say into a chair when it's deep and comfortable.
She sank into the armchair.
But we say onto a chair when it's a regular chair.
He sat onto the wooden chair.
The depth and type matters.
Let's talk about water and liquids.
This is important. With water, we use into.
Because when you enter water, you're surrounded by it. You're inside it.
He jumped into the pool.
She dove into the ocean.
I fell into the lake.
They walked into the river.
All using into.
But if you're moving onto the surface of frozen water, use onto.
She stepped onto the ice.
Because ice is a solid surface.
Let's practice. The kids jumped into the fountain.
I slipped and fell into the puddle.
The skater glided onto the frozen pond.
He dipped his hand into the cold water.
Water uses into, but ice uses onto.
Now let's practice with a real conversation.
Great. Let's imagine we're talking about someone's morning routine.
So, what did you do this morning?
Well, I woke up and got out of bed. Then I walked into the bathroom.
What did you do there?
I jumped into the shower and got ready. After that, I went back into my bedroom.
And then what?
I got dressed and put my phone into my pocket. I also put my wallet into my bag.
Did you have breakfast?
Yes, I went into the kitchen and made some coffee. I poured the coffee into my favorite mug.
Then what happened?
I put some bread into the toaster. While waiting, I put the butter onto the counter.
Sounds like a good breakfast.
It was. After eating, I put my dishes into the sink. Then I grabbed my keys from the table.
How did you get to work?
I walked out and got into my car. I put the key into the ignition and drove to work.
Did you have any trouble?
Actually, yes. I dropped my coffee cup onto the floor of the car. What a mess.
Oh no, what did you do?
I stopped and cleaned it up. Then I got back into the car and continued driving.
Where did you park?
I drove into the parking garage and found a spot. Then I got out of the car and walked into the building.
Busy morning.
Very busy. When I got into the office, I put my bag onto my desk and started working.
Did you hear all the into and onto in that story?
Yes, we used into for enclosed spaces and containers.
And onto for surfaces.
The conversation sounded completely natural.
That's because native speakers use these patterns automatically.
Let's talk about common mistakes.
Yes, this is really helpful.
One common mistake is using onto with rooms.
Wrong. I walked onto the room.
Correct. I walked into the room. Rooms are enclosed spaces.
Another mistake is using into with flat surfaces.
Wrong. Put the book into the table.
Correct. Put the book onto the table. Tables are surfaces.
Another mistake is confusing into and into.
These are different. Into is one word showing movement.
Into is two words. In is an adverb and to is part of an infinitive.
For example, I came in to help. This means I came inside in order to help.
But I came into the room means I entered the room.
The meaning is different. Let's practice identifying which one to use.
I'll give you a sentence with a blank. You choose into or onto.
Ready? She jumped blank the swimming pool.
Into. She jumped into the swimming pool. Water surrounds you.
He placed the cup blank the shelf.
Onto. He placed the cup onto the shelf. The shelf is a surface.
I walked blank the classroom.
Into. I walked into the classroom. It's an enclosed space.
The cat climbed blank the roof.
Onto. The cat climbed onto the roof. The roof is a surface.
She put the groceries blank the refrigerator.
Into. She put the groceries into the refrigerator. It's a container.
He threw the ball blank the field.
Onto. He threw the ball onto the field. The field is a surface.
I got blank the taxi.
Into. I got into the taxi. Small vehicles use into.
Perfect.
Let's create a story about a day at the beach.
Great idea. I love the beach.
Last Saturday, my family and I went to the beach. We got into the car early in the morning.
My dad drove and I put my beach bag onto the back seat. My brother threw his towel onto the floor.
When we arrived, we walked onto the sand. It was hot under our feet.
We found a good spot and put our umbrella into the sand so it wouldn't blow away.
Then we placed our cooler onto the beach blanket. My mom put sunscreen into her bag.
I couldn't wait to swim. I ran and jumped into the ocean. The water was cold at first.
My brother climbed onto a surfboard and tried to surf. He fell into the water many times.
After swimming, I walked back onto the beach. I was hungry, so I put my hand into the cooler to get a sandwich.
Later, we saw a volleyball game. Some people were hitting the ball onto the net.
In the afternoon, we walked into a small beach shop. I put some money into the cashier's hand and bought a souvenir.
As the sun set, we packed everything into our bags. My dad loaded everything into the car.
On the way home, I looked out the window and saw the moon rising onto the horizon.
When we got home, everyone was tired. I walked into my room and fell onto my bed.
Then I got into my pajamas and climbed into bed. What a perfect day.
That story used both prepositions perfectly.
Yes, into for enclosed spaces and containers, onto for surfaces.
This is exactly how native speakers naturally use these words.
Let's talk about some fixed expressions.
Yes, there are some common phrases that always use into or onto.
With into, get into trouble, look into something, run into someone.
I got into trouble at school.
The police are looking into the case.
I ran into an old friend yesterday.
These are fixed expressions.
With onto, hold on to something, catch onto something, be onto something.
Hold onto the railing.
He finally caught on to the joke.
I think we're onto something here.
These phrases don't follow the normal rules. They're just fixed.
Let's practice with more examples in different situations.
Good idea. At home, put the dishes into the dishwasher.
Place the flowers onto the dining table.
I went into the garage to get my bike.
I went into the garage to get my bike.
The cat jumped onto the windowsill.
At school, walk into the library quietly.
Write your name onto the sign-up sheet.
Put your homework into the basket.
The teacher wrote the answer onto the board.
At work, come into my office.
Save the file onto your computer.
Put the documents into the folder.
Project the presentation onto the screen.
All natural and correct.
Now it's your turn to practice.
Try making your own sentences with into and onto.
Think about your daily activities. Where do you go? What do you put where?
Write your sentences in the comments. We'd love to see them.
Don't worry about making mistakes. That's how we learn.
Practice by describing your movements throughout the day. I walked into the kitchen. I put my cup onto the counter.
The more you practice, the more natural it becomes.
Soon, you'll automatically know which one to use.
Let's do a quick review.
Into shows movement from outside to inside something.
Use it with rooms, buildings, containers, vehicles like cars, and water.
I walked into the house. I jumped into the pool.
Onto shows movement from one place to a surface.
Use it with flat surfaces, tables, floors, roofs, and large vehicles like buses.
I put the book onto the table. I got onto the bus.
Into equals inside. Onto equals on a surface.
That's the key difference.
Remember, if something surrounds you or contains you, use into.
If you're on top of something or on its surface, use onto.
Perfect summary.
If you enjoyed this episode, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to English the Natural Way.
We create new episodes every week to help you learn real, everyday English.
Leave a comment below with your practice sentences.
We love hearing from you and seeing your progress.
Understanding into and onto will make your English sound much more natural.
These small prepositions make a big difference in how you describe movement.
Thanks so much for listening today.
Keep practicing, keep learning, and keep believing in yourself.
See you next time.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.